So while Nikon didn't exactly blow us away with the Z6 III release, we've been waiting for like 4 months. What are they gonna do? Is it gonna destroy the A7S III? It's decent, it has its positives and its negatives. Welcome to a very balanced camera conspiracies. I'm gonna tell you if you should buy it, if I would want it, and if your mom has any sandwiches left over, I'll take one.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
Alright fellas, I do believe it is time for us to take back our shine. It's Nikon, it used to be us, and Canon. That's all anyone ever knew. Now it's Sony, and then Fuji came, and Panasonic. What the hell's happening? Let's release a camera that will blow the world away. Boss, it's not even gonna be hard. We just look at the competition, what do they have, and then we beat it. Simple. A7S III. It's been out for 4 years now. We can beat that thing. Come on. ZBE1. It's a crippled down version. It overheats. No one's using that thing. Let's make one of those. All right, Johnson, let's beat the Sony A7S III once and for all. Let's do it. 4K 120p with a crop. Little HD 240. Small crop. Matched? Anyone? Checkmate. Sir, the Sony A7S III came out 4 years ago. We have to beat it. There's no matching anymore. That's not allowed. We will be lynched and burnt like witches. We gotta beat it with something. Tell me you got something in your pocket. Not only are we matching the Sony A7S III if you remove the crop factors, we also have 6K 60 RAW? What do you have to say about that? It's red RAW from the company you bought? That's something. That's something. It's red RAW, right? Johnson, you greedy little twerp. No, we're not ready. We just bought the company. We're just shaking hands at this point. We haven't even had a meeting yet. It's Nikon RAW. It's pretty good. It's like a log. It's totally super dynamic range in this thing, I bet. Sir, according to Gerald Undone, he tested the dynamic range from his spaceship, and it's less than an aps-c Fuji XH2s. And what does the partially stacked thing mean? What happened? What went wrong? I don't know, man. We bought the sensors from Sony. He said stacked. Something got lost in translation there. It was only like half of a stack on one of the sides. And then that removes the dynamic range capabilities. We can only shoot black and white for 4 seconds. I don't know what happened. So we have the dynamic range of an aps-c camera. We crop just like an aps-c camera would. We have RAW, but it's kind of fake RAW and your LUTs don't work. The dynamic range of a unicorn mouse. Is the grip nice? Of course it is. It's a Nikon grip. We put the custom mode on the left-hand side, like one word, Johnson. I swear. Oh my God. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, why does it? Oh boy, I'm so sorry. You're fired. Now, I don't mean to alarm you, but we do have a purchase announcement, and you are allowed to witness it briefly here. Worst framing possible, but it's such a long lens, I don't know how I'm gonna make it look any better, but we have the Canon 135mm Tony II. Oh boy, Sony A7S III. No one cares. So I have gathered enough information after watching all the shill tubers promote and advertise the Z6 III. It's the best thing ever. So let's just get the obvious flaws out of the way, and then I'll tell you my thoughts realistically. Am I looking at this for wildlife, going Fuji, being happy with what I have? No. Z6 III, 4K 120p is a aps-c crop. I didn't realize how unreliable the Nikon rumor guy was, because I have videos coming still that are complaining about the HD 240p aps-c crop. I can't believe the 8-bit. What the hell were they thinking? Where do you get that information? I feel like a moron. I listened to you, I trusted you. Now I'm the moron, and I'm gonna have to listen to all these people in the future say, oh, you idiot, this is a 5% crop. I know now. Ass. So 4K 120 in an aps-c crop, at least it's beating the 4K 60 in the aps-c crop of its competitors. So like, we have to give them that. And if I'm being honest with you, I hate that it's not full frame, but you do have full frame 6K 60 RAW. Say you're wildlifing I'm out here, okay, 6K 60 RAW. Let's punch in to 4K 120 for a little more slow motion. And then a slight backup, 5% crop on the HD 240. It's magic, it's 10-bit. It's doable. I hate it for like an all-encompassing camera, but we have to see this as a wildlife camera mostly. It's not a YouTuber thing. Nikon IBIS is not calculated for walking and talking. Only Panasonic is, and Olympus. Sony's decent, Canon's pretty good. That's most of the companies. Oh boy. So while it does suck that there are these little crops here and there, 5% crop for 240p is almost nothing. Because Sony A7S III has a 10% crop in 4K 120, and I barely even regard that as a thing. Like, it's fine. If you're 10% and under, 15 max. What are these symbols? Now here's what I don't get. Partially stacked sensor. That's a weird thing. I don't see the benefits coming in my frame rates. You're still kind of like not even quite matching Sony A7S III specs 4 years later. It hurts. You have more megapixels, or do you? Most people say the Sony A7S III has a 48 megapixel sensor, and then they only use 12 of them for video somehow. I don't understand how that works or what the advantages are and why you're not letting me turn the 48 megapixels on for photos. Seems like a hammer move, but partially stacked, it's faster, but it's not, and you lose a bunch of dynamic range. It's almost like a global shutter in the sense that it's faster or something, but at the cost of dynamic range. So that's kind of annoying. I don't know how important it really is for YouTube. I'm not even filming in log anymore. I don't even care. It's just annoying me. I'm in standard right now with dynamic range to 4, and it's like, that's good enough. I'm just tired of grading log. So it's like, this is probably on par with Nikon's log maybe, or if not less, and I don't think it really matters. I used to think that's the most important thing for the cinematic image, and maybe it is, and maybe nobody gives a damn. So like, that sucks that it's lower and you have no bragging rights, but whatever, man. Yes, I'm moving. Is it even a better scene? Not really. Not even at all. It's actually worse in a lot of ways, but I did focus on this patch of grass, and there's a chance that I'm in focus. Are you seeing the pop? I have another bunch of purchases on the way, but this video is skipping the line. I've already like reviewed them, and this one should have been like 2 weeks later for you, but you're skipping the line, buddy. And I couldn't wait to test the lens. So from what we're seeing, the Z8 is basically better in every way, which it should be technically because it's their flagship. Not really the Z9, but the Z8's a baby Z9, and then the Z6III, I don't know who you are, you're something like a hybrid type of thing for both, mostly video, but your video specs are worse somehow. But the Z8 does not have 240p. Will it get it in a firmware? How could it not be capable? It probably is. You're doing 8K 60 RAW in that, 4K 120 with no crop, yet HD 120. Says who? In what world is that acceptable in today's society? It's not. So it's purely capable. And according to Gerald Undun's spaceship technology, N-Log needs an update. We need a Fuji Log 2 type of thing situation there. It's just not stacking up, and that's their weak point. It is crap. I'll be honest with you. I'm filming in rich tone portrait now on the Nikon always, because I don't know what to do with log. It just turns, their LUT is garbage. It just turns my face red. I am red. I get burnt quite easily, and I have rashes all over my face. So it's like, okay, it's an accurate thing, but I see it in other people. Not everybody has a rash. And I'm watching like Jordan, he has like all this red skin, and it's like, I doubt he looks like that, but on the Nikon he does, and everyone seems to. I see it. So like, I don't know, man. Log, dynamic range, you're a myth. You're a myth. One thing I don't love is Nikon seems to be hiding the fact that there's crops. If you go on their site and you look at their features, it just says like 4K 120p, HD 240, 6K 60 RAW. Go ahead, shoot it. And there's nowhere to be found does it say aps-c crop for 4K 120, 5% crop for HD. There's no information. Whereas Fuji, you go on their site, look up any of their cameras, it's like, oh, there it is, 1.29 times crop in HD. Wow, that's a big crop. You're already a crop sensor. Oh my God, at least they're honest about it though. Like you're trying to sneak it out, and then I buy your camera, like, oh my God, there's a crop. Sorry about that. No warranty, no refunds. Now, in my initial impressions of the rumors of the Z6 III that I released a couple days ago, I was annoyed that the left-hand dial exists and it's not on the right. It would be so much easier if it was on the right. A lot of you are suggesting there's something called custom banks. My ZF doesn't have that. How the hell would I know? Because you told me months ago and I forgot. I remember it now. But I don't know how those work. None of you are saying, like, what happens when you press this button? Does it instantly go in and cycle between? Can I have 6K 60 RAW, 4K 120 with the crop, HD 240? That's 3 modes that I need. Is this custom bank gonna go in cycle between them, or do I have to press a button and then scroll with a thumb wheel between like 30 options? Because some of you are suggesting, oh, just go into the I menu. You can change the frame rate there. Yeah, cycle between, like what, 15 frame rates? That's real fast. Okay, I'm in 6K 60 and you're cycling, boom, 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 4K 120's there. Your bird has just pooed on like a bear and you missed it. So I'm not sure if the custom banks can replace the custom wheel dial or not. To be determined by one of you. And is the RAW actually good RAW? Because you can just say like it's RAW, but your dynamic range is crap and it's worse than my Blackmagic OG. Like that thing has Cinema DNG RAW 12-bit in a 2 megapixel sensor, 1080p only. Is beautiful. So just because Nikon has RAW in it, I don't know much about NRAW. All I've heard is that it's not that great compared to even Sony's like S-Log3. So like, I don't know if that's even just a marketing gimmick or what. Is it Red RAW coming someday, or is that a way off in the distant future? I'm not moving again. I trust your attention span. I found a small section of protective shade, and now I'm not going to burn to death while completing this video. It's a heat wave, but the Sony A7S III doesn't care because it would never overheat. So here's the things that I'm debating. One, am I going to buy it? It seems like a real stupid decision because I have basically the same specs in my A7S III. I already have it. It's all good. The only thing, there's advantages to be had. If I went with the Z6 III for $10,000 and $731, if I want the 600mm prime and the Z6 III brand new in Canada with tax, that's the price. Wow. I wouldn't be selling my A7S III to fund that because this is technically better as a YouTube camera. The stability is better. Everything is somewhat better, kind of. I would have a prime, same reach, but a prime. It would look much better. 6K 60 RAW would look better than the 4K 120 in here. Slightly less slow, but I can still go into my HD 240 and it's a bigger difference. And I do like that. 6K super resolution, kind of slow. And then HD 240, super slow. Like that's a huge difference. The only other system I've been seriously debating is Fuji. And honestly, if I went with the XS20, I'd be getting 4K 60 and HD 240. That's much worse than the Nikon, but if that prime, the 500mm Tony 5.6, if it's the same price as the medium format prime, which it could be, we're looking at $69.84 for that system, a used Fuji XS20 and that prime lens, which gives you a 750mm reach instead of 600, but then Nikon does have its crops and it's 6K, you could crop in on that. Fun times. If I was just asking myself, which of those would I rather have? I think it's pretty clear the Nikon would be way better. It is a better system, even though it's disappointing. It's disappointing though. That's what I end up thinking. It's like, you haven't beaten my A7S III in enough areas to warrant a $10,000 investment. These things deteriorate over time. It's not like you buy gold and it's like, oh wow, it's worth more. Or Bitcoin that you could donate to me instead of, no one will ever do that. I don't know why I keep begging. Cameras especially lose their value hard. Lenses somewhat keep them some of the time. Not really. If you calculate inflation, it's like, oh, I still got 600. Yeah, but your $600 can't even buy 14 strawberries now. So it's like, I don't know, man. It's an okay release. It's not bad. It's better than the R6 II in a lot of ways. It's better than the Sony A7 IV, Panasonic S5 II. In that class, it's also more money than all those, I think. Don't quote me on that. Probably not the Canon or the Sony. It's still quite expensive for what it is, and I get that it can also take photos, and mine really can't. It can, but it shouldn't. I don't care about that. I like the video specs. Yes, I want a video camera. They don't exist. Do some research. Camcorders, that industry's dead. So it's like, I don't know, it's a sideways step for me and it's not worth it. So I guess I have to wait. Who's coming with something next? Because it ain't Nikon. Okay, I'm dying of a heat stroke. I'm gonna leave now. What do you think? Is it somewhat of a disappointing release? Are you super thrilled? Did you pre-order it through my affiliate links? I don't know, it's an okay release. It's not bad, it's pretty good compared to the competition, unless you consider Sony A7S III your competition, and then ouch, you're not quite there yet. So let's see that partially stacked sensor with 9 megapixels, and then come at me with 4K 480p, and then I'll see. Then $10,000 could be yours. It might be. How you doing? You subscribing for more videos, Sandix?